Before starting the video, please watch this video at 2 times the speed. I don't want to waste your time talking about how to save your time. Okay, yeah. So now the one question that someone has asked me long back is, what is the most valuable thing that you could gift to someone? Then I told them that it is your undivided attention, it is your time, that is the most valuable thing in this world, and that is what, if you could give it as a gift, that is the best gift that you could give to anyone. And then what is the second greatest gift you could give to someone is, some people has asked me, right? Recently I had a conversation with a friend and he asked me all these questions. Then I came up with this answer that it is a book. So book is the second greatest gift you could give to someone. And what is the third greatest gift you could give to someone is inspiration. So these are the things that these are most valuable things, right? So let's talk about all this. So first thing is about the time, right? So what is life? Life is time, isn't it? Now if you take life is nothing but time. And now what exactly is this time? So you can actually go into the granularity of years. And also there is one more I suddenly remembered this. There is a book called as Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He says that there is no concept of time, and it is, the book is really nice. You might not be able to understand it and it might feel boring, but then if you could read it, it is a very nice book. Okay, now let's get back to the time that I am talking about. Now you could divide the time into years, and then into months, and then into days or seconds. Now if you want to plan your life, what you exactly need to plan is your time. That's it. Now in this video I want to talk about planning your life one day at a time, which means I'm talking about the granularity of one day. Okay, because it is not too big or too small. That is why I'm taking 24 hours. And now the first thing that comes into mind, or anyone generally asks me, is what is the time we need to wake up, how many hours we need to sleep, and how to plan the day. So yes, coming to that point, research says that there is nothing like you should always sleep at 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. or something like that. There is nothing like that. So but it says that you need at least 7 hours to 8 hours of sleep, and that again varies genetically, which means if you take me, I'll be more than energetic if I sleep for 6 hours, right? And some people need 8 hours of sleep. But generally at your age, if you are in 20s, I think 6 hours or 7 hours is enough. So 7 hours is the right amount of time that you need to sleep, nothing more than that. And if you sleep more than that or less than that, then that might create some problems. But if you are doing it for a short while, that's okay. For 1 year, if you are sleeping only for 7 hours or 6 hours, that's okay, right? And now, okay, not 7 or 6. If you're sleeping for 5 hours or less, then for 1 hour, 1 year, don't do it for long. But most important thing is fix those timings, which means there is something already inbuilt in us that is called as biological clock, and our body functions according to the way we sleep and we wake up. It is going to produce certain hormones in such a way that certain chemicals will be generated in your brain in such a way that based on the time you sleep and based on the time you wake up, everything is going to get adjusted, right? And now coming to this point, let me tell you this. So if you are sleeping at, let's say, 10 a.m. in the morning, and if you want to wake up at 4 p.m. in the daytime, you can do that, perfect. But then don't change it regularly. That is when your body will not get adjusted. So it is already going to fix the timings, and accordingly it is going to function. The problem with sleeping in the daytime and working in the night is you have to treat that night as if it is a day, and then you have to set the clock in such a way that you take the food as if I take the food in the daytime, right? So research says that you should not eat anything maybe 2 hours before you sleep. Let us say you sleep at 10 p.m. then you should be finishing your dinner by 8 p.m. or if you can finish it early, that is the best thing, because when you sleep, most of your blood in your body is used for detoxification, right? And now if you eat and then immediately sleep, the problem is most of the blood will be in your gut, and it will be trying to digest the food that you have taken, and instead of cleansing your body, the most important thing that you have placed on your body is, the important responsibility is digesting the food that you have eaten, right? It is better you eat by 8 o'clock, chew your food well, get it digested, and by the time you sleep peacefully. Then only you can get into the deep sleep. That is what research says. Okay. And now if you are sleeping at 10 a.m., the problem is you will feel very hungry at 9:45, you will eat full and then you sleep, and then maybe at 1 p.m. again you feel hungry, and again you wake up in the middle, you eat, and again you sleep. So this is bad. Now what you are doing is, even though you are sleeping, you are putting a lot of pressure on your body in order to digest the food, and you are not going to consume that energy at all. If you are just in that lying position, your body gets the food and then digests it and then generates the glucose, and it doesn't know where to send. That is where you are going to get this belly fat, and then a lot of other problems, obesity, all these things. But if you can treat that time as if it is daytime, that is fine. And the second reason is, and second thing I want to discuss is, I wake up at 4 a.m. I don't suggest that you should definitely wake up at 4 a.m. and everyone should be doing it, but then in my opinion, I'll tell you what happens when you wake up at 4 a.m. When I wake up at 4 a.m., I mean in India, let us say, so anywhere you can think of it, 4 a.m., the world generally starts at 10 a.m. So people starts working at 10 a.m. Therefore, from 4 a.m. to probably 8 a.m. or 10 a.m., your time will be in your control. You can do whatever you like and no one will really disturb you. Let's say I come to office by 4 a.m. No one will be there at the office. Or I call only people whom I need to work with during that time. Sometimes I might have to work during that time also. Now the video is now being recorded at, I think the time is 4:30 in the morning, right? So I call only the people who work with me, right? So there will be minimal disturbance, right? World is sleeping, time is in your control. There will be no notifications, no Facebook notifications, no WhatsApp notifications, and no emergency calls, and no one will come and meet you. No one will disturb you. So that is why I try to do the most important things in my life from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. right? If you have a goal, or if you are trying to learn something and if it is very important, just dedicate this time. See, you are the most important person in your life, and your time is the most precious thing that you have in your life. Now at least dedicate the most precious gift to the most precious person in the world, that is you, right? So during this time, now if you can dedicate this 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. and if you can spend on the things that is going to help you grow, that is going to keep you healthy, then in the rest of the day, even if the world controls your time, that's okay, right? You are not losing anything, isn't it? So for those who are either preparing for GATE, or who are going to get into IITs, or who are doing job, see, only thing that you have is this time, 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. and be very selfish and ruthless during this time. Don't dedicate this time or give this time to anyone in your life. Not to family, not to friends, not to Facebook. No one should get your time. So this 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. just be selfish, because it is the most important time and you are the most important person. Just spend everything that you got on yourself. Okay, now let us say you woke up at 4 a.m. I'm just giving you an example. I don't know if see, after watching this video, if at least one person changes his routine, I'll be happy. Now if you wake up at 4 a.m., what is the first important thing, or first thing is, how do you wake up at 4 a.m.? That is the first question I think I should be asking you. See, many people say that I can sleep at 4 a.m. but I can't wake up at 4 a.m. I mean, are you getting the difference? There's many people say that I can work till 4 a.m. and then I could sleep, but then I can't wake up at 4 a.m. Now in that case, what they actually lack is the discipline to wake up. So I mean, discipline to sleep. If you can sleep, if you can hit the bed by, let's say 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. you will definitely be able to wake up at 4 a.m. See, if you have the discipline to sleep early, you'll definitely be able to get up early. But the problem is you can't sleep early because you have a lot of work pending, isn't it? Why is that work pending? Because you didn't do it throughout your day. Why didn't you do it throughout your day? Because you woke up late and you kept on postponing. So it is a loop, isn't it? If you have to sleep early, see, if you have to wake up early, you have to sleep early. And if you have to sleep early, you need to finish your work early. And if you want to finish your work early, then you have to wake up early, right? So this is a loop. Are you getting this? This is a cycle. Now if you try to break anything in it, either you sleep late or you start late or you work late, everything is going to get disturbed. So what I do is, see, sometimes I don't get tired. Sometimes I feel like working even after 10 p.m. But then I force myself to go and sleep, because what I want is not to spoil the next day. When I work after 10 p.m., then what gets spoiled is the next day's that precious time. So 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. So that is the most important thing that I want. So then that keeps me go to bed and then sleep. So you should always remember that in order to get that best time of your life, you should be able to have the discipline to go and sleep. Now again, there is a problem. See, I'm not going to talk only about the problems, I'll give you solutions also, so just be with me. The problem is, why is it difficult for us to sleep at 10 p.m. or hit the bed at 10 p.m. is, the research says that there is a book called Willpower. The name of the book is Willpower, and I forgot the author's name. Roy Baumeister. Yeah, Roy Baumeister is the author of the book. He says that as we progress in the day, by the time we reach the end of the day, our willpower will deplete. So willpower decreases, or we spent all the willpower, and finally the last decision that you had to make, the time that you had to hit the bed, you will not be able to make it. You will not be able to get up from the chair, or you will not be able to say bye to your friend on your WhatsApp, and because you have lost that willpower. Right? Now it is an interesting book. Please read about it. How to conserve your willpower and use your willpower only to do the most important things. He says that willpower is just a limited thing that you have, and if you spend it on everything, you might not be able to spend it on most important things, right? So there are a lot of things in that book. You please go through it. Maybe if you ask me, okay, so if anything is read, I will tell you. Okay, so that is what is one thing. Okay, so that is about the willpower. So you should have the willpower and discipline to hit the bed first, so then you will be able to wake up. Okay, so try maintaining this cycle like 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. then eventually you will observe that you don't need actually an alarm to wake up. See, I got used to this time so much that I wake up at 10 to 4, which means even though my alarm, I set it not to risk it, even though I set my alarm at 4 a.m. to avoid the risk of not waking up, at 10 to 4 I wake up and I turn off my alarm. Okay, so I look at it and I turn it off. So that is interesting. That is how your body will get used. And now if I sleep at, let's say, 9 p.m. sometime, and if I'm tired and on that day if I sleep at 9 p.m. I'll wake up at 3, which means my body has got so much adjusted because of the cycle that I made used to, right? So you can also practice it. It's just about practice. See, there are a lot of things about genetics. You cannot change if it is completely in your genetics, but then there are certain things I think you could change, because it is not genetic for me waking up, because no one in my family wakes up at this time. Okay, enough of this motivational speech. Now see, again, I'm trying to inspire you, not motivate you. Okay, I hope you are getting the difference. And then the next thing that you should be doing is, immediately after you wake up, you should ask the question, what should I do? If you don't have to sleep, or if you don't want to sleep again after 4 a.m., just make the entire systems, everything in your body very active. First, start with your body. So what I do is, immediately after I wake up, I do 10 push-ups or squats, or I go up and down the steps, right? Or do something so that I'll be really active, right? And then immediately I take bath with cold water. So remember this, this is again science. So whatever I say is not just what I'm doing. I never do that. Okay, if it is not supported by science, no, I don't do it. Now science says that when you take bath with cold water, your nerve system will get activated, right? And then when you increase, when you do some physical activity, your blood circulation that gets improved, so which means your heart will start beating fast and your blood circulation will get improved, right? And some people will also try, you can also try doing the breathing exercise immediately and then taking the bath, which means you are getting all your systems ready. It is like this, you are getting your machine, the engine, ready for the day, right? Okay, then what is the next important thing that you have to do, or I do, is read. That's it. Immediately after waking up, probably by 4:30, I start reading. Most of the days I do it, and sometimes when I have some very important work, let us say there are some questions which have not been answered for a long time, right? Or there is difficulty that my team is facing, then I have to get involved in it and it has to become the priority. Then only in that case I dedicate this time, otherwise I read. Okay, see, either you are preparing for GATE, or let's say, okay, for GATE I think you have to be preparing the technical subjects. Let us say you are done with your GATE and then you are getting into IITs, or you are doing some job, or you are doing a business. Whichever phase you are in, just remember this: never stop learning. Once you think that you know everything, that is where everything is over, which means your downfall is going to start. So never think that you know everything. Always have this attitude that there is something that I don't know, upon knowing which everything will change. I don't know if I conveyed this in the right way or not, so you please watch it again. Okay, so now you should always be curious about the future, what is going to happen in the future, right? And maybe what great people do, or how to influence the world, how did they influence the world, and how you could influence the world, right? So more than formal education, if something has changed my life, if something has impacted my life, it is reading books other than the formal books. I started reading very early, or I don't know if I have to say that I have started it early or late, but then there is one person in my life, my mama's friend, so my maternal uncle's friend, and he gave me this book, Magic of Thinking Big, when I was in, I think, +1 or +2, or I think in 10th standard, at the end of 10th standard, and I started reading that book. And from that point on, in 10th standard, I started reading many books, like that, and that has really that really inspires me. So even in, see, this habit of waking up at 4 o'clock and then working, this has always been with me since my 10th standard. So from the time I started reading that book, I started waking up in the morning, I started planning my day, and I plan everything well. Okay, sometimes, yes, because of the lack of experience, I might have done some mistakes, but then books are the best thing that I could say. See, this is like, if there is a mentor in every field, you will never make mistakes. If there is an experienced person guiding you, like let us say you want to lose 10 kgs of weight, if there is a coach, pay him for that, get the knowledge from him, that's not wrong. If you could lose money in order to save your time, do that. Even I do that, right? So I have a coach when I was in 8th standard. Okay, I'll talk about my working out later. And then, see, what I mean to say is, in every area that I want to excel, see, I have very big goals and all these things. In every field that I want to excel, or I'm planning on excelling, I have a mentor in every field. But the problem is, these mentors are not available for me. Then what I do is, I follow them rigorously. I follow them. It is like, there is a word, I don't remember, I don't get that word. So I follow them everywhere on the media, social media, and then I read everything that comes out about them, and I read their books about them. So Elon Musk, you can think about it. So I follow him regularly. Now these great people, they will not be available for people like us. Then they write books. So that is why they write books. Now when you read their biographies or autobiographies or anything that they did, or if they are saying something, it will be as good as sitting in a room with them and having a coffee and a conversation. So that is what autobiographies can do to you. So when I read autobiographies of let's say Warren Buffett, or so I think Warren Buffett is having a biography, not autobiography, and then there are many people like that. What is the best autobiography? Yeah, Steve Jobs is the best autobiography. And then yeah, there are many people. I'm really bad with names. Okay, so this is what you should be doing. And then always have a goal that you need to finish at least one book in a week or 2 weeks. Now if you look at this Mark Zuckerberg, he has started a plan called a book of years or something. You can Google out about this, a year of books, I guess, a year of books. And he has started also a website called as yearofbooks.com, where his intention was to finish one book every week. I think, yeah, one book every 2 weeks, I guess, and then share it with their team, right? I do that in my office. So I read the books, and almost every week I summarize it and just share it with my team. So whatever the important points are. Now the problem is, okay, from next time onwards I'll try to share it with you too, but till now I never got time to make these kind of videos, but now I feel that I should be doing that. Okay, it is a time that I should start guiding you properly, otherwise someone else will misguide you. Okay, so what I mean to say is, see, my goal is this: every week I have to finish one book at least. So that book should be maybe 15 hours, or if it is more than that, I divide it. Okay, I read the book based on the number of hours it takes. On average, every book generally takes 15 to 20 hours. If it takes 10 hours for you, it might take 12 to 15 hours for me, because I'm dyslexic. Okay, so what you can do is every day dedicate 1 or 2 hours for this book reading. That will change your life like no other formal education could do. Okay, and even now this Bill Gates is having this website. I think that is he's also having this habit of reading books. He's an avid reader, and then he's having this book called, I don't know, just Google out about him. There is a website where he read all the books and he has posted it there. And who else is a good reader I could give example about, because when I give examples about great people, then only you get inspired and read, isn't it? If I say that I read and then you read, you might not read. So, and Warren Buffett. So Warren Buffett reads a lot, and Elon Musk. So one great thing about Elon Musk is, someone in the interview asked, how did you build these rockets and then this car industry without having any formal education? He said that I just read books. And it seems that he read all the books in his library when he was a kid, and he read everything in the encyclopedia, and he used to read, it seems, 10 hours a day, and he used to finish 6 months 6 months worth of reading in just 10 days. He's a very fast reader and he remembers everything. I think that is how he started impacting the world. So never give up on reading the books. So that is the first important thing that you should do after you wake up. Okay, fine.